Well, thank you. Thank you. I'm kind of excited, and I'm actually very, very honored to be here. Let me start with telling you just a little bit more of my background so you kind of know where it came from. So I spent about 30 years in the corporate world, really kind of the really big corporate world like TRW and Bank of America, CB Richard Ellis, Emerson Electric. And in 2010, I was affected by the Great Recession just like everybody else. The company I was with decided to move to Dallas. I didn't really want to move to Dallas. I had the opportunity to, but I had kids. I have 4. So it really didn't make a lot of sense. And I was kind of ready for something different. And so I did some searching and I found the Focal Point coaching practice. And I looked at a couple other things, but really I found that I have a heart for coaching, helping other people be successful. And I've coached, think about it, Little League, soccer, but now it's business coaching. And that's really where my focus was. And I've been in this business coaching space for the last 12 years, constantly trying to improve my skill set, my practice, because there's no end of learning in that space. And I've been trained by some of the best. Focal Point is a Brian Tracy organization. Some of you may know him, but he's been around for a long time, has written many, many books. Spent a lot of time with Jeff Walker in the digital marketing space, because that's where small business operates very significantly these days. I follow John Maxwell, Patrick Lencioni, Zig Ziglar, as you might have guessed. Just continually trying to hone and get better and serve my practice. Now, I tell people that I'm kind of a recovering corporate executive today because, to be honest with you, the corporate executive I was back then was somebody that focused on results, right? It wasn't a whole lot of people focus. And that's been a big shift for me in the space that I'm at now today because I really that was a growth spot for me, and it's a place that I needed to spend some more time. Interestingly enough, when I started my practice in 2010, coincided with my faith journey. So I didn't grow up in the church. I really didn't discover Jesus until I turned 52. And it was pretty amazing, right? And I won't go into all the details of how that happened. It's a pretty interesting story. But here's the thing, right? I'm sitting down talking with some guys. They're helping me understand what's going on. I'm trying to figure out how to deal with my daughter because we've just gone through a divorce. And this concept of grace and mercy shows up. And I'm listening and I'm learning about what grace and mercy really is. And I'm like, you mean that I've been on this planet for 50 years, and I've never heard of that? You guys see the Kevin Hart Alexa commercial? What? You got to be kidding me. It was life-changing for me, right? A big sense of peace, calm. It was just remarkable, amazing. And I'm like, how can I go through 50 years? We're not talking like a couple years, 50 years, and not really understanding that. And so I became a seeker, really, and I became, I dug deeper and deeper. I got baptized, taken courses, classes. I was with Dallas this weekend in an event, actually here. So this is my 4th time here in the last week. A couple years ago, my life ran into a storm. And that happens, right? Y'all do it, right? So my wife decided that she didn't want to be married anymore. Our kids are all grown. So good news is they're out on their own doing their thing. But I was kind of cast aside, cast adrift. I didn't know what to do. And, went into a practice of prayer and reflection, trying to figure out where I'm going to go with this thing. And I really believe God called me up to Portland. I have a lot of family up here. I'm certain that played a role too. I needed some community. I needed some people to talk to. And by the way, a month later, the whole country shut down with COVID. And so I basically sold all of my stuff, gave it away, gave it to my kids, whatever could fit in my car, came to Portland. The first apartment I had 2 camp chairs and 2 TV trays. That was my living room furniture. And I slept on an air mattress until I got a bed. But that was it. And I remember very distinctly a turning inflection point for me as I was coming up. I had left 6:30 in the morning, and I traveled Coast Highway for 4 days to get up here because I just kind of wanted to experience some things. But about an hour north of Los Angeles, Malibu, and I'm on Pacific Coast Highway, got the ocean on the left, mountains on the right, sun's come out of the mountains, it's really pretty. And I had this conversation with God. I said, I have no plans. I don't even know what I'm supposed to be doing here. So whatever you want me to do, I'm yours. Don't have it. And this whole time up here has been just this series of experiences, meeting Dallas, being here. I feel this is where I'm supposed to be. And this is why I'm really honored to be here and spending some time with you guys today. So late last year, and I had to go through that divorce and go through this, and there were a lot of challenges and issues in here, financially, all of those things. But late last year, I sort of felt called by God, it's time to start doing something. It's time to start figuring out what to do. And I engaged somebody to help me work through that process, and I recommend that to anybody. If you've got those kind of challenges, people can help you. And the term LifeShine came up. I wanted to leverage my coaching practice, but I wanted to integrate my faith a lot more distinctly. Because again, in my business coaching practice is probably mostly secular. Not to say that there weren't anybody that were following Jesus and believers, but I really wanted to move deeper into a Jesus relationship with my clients and the type of material that I did. And so somewhere in the process, I was reading the Bible, and I'm reading Matthew 5:16, and it says, "Let your light shine before others on your good deeds and glorify our Father in heaven." And that stood out to me. It's like, how can I help people let their light shine brighter? How can I help them? Because I think, and we're going through a pandemic, and it's kind of a crazy world. It's certainly way different today than it was 3 years ago. And so LifeShine was born, and I started building a new program, a new course. And the other reason I did that is because in the business world, I had a lot of successful clients. I had clients that doubled and tripled their business in a year or two. I had clients that dropped $100,000 to the bottom line in 90 days, or doubled their profits in 60 days. Sometimes it's just little tweaks that you have to do to make that happen. But I'll tell you that not every client is willing to do the work that it takes to be successful. And if I look back and I say, what were some of the things that hung them up? Sometimes it wasn't the business building skills, right? It was their identity. It was who they were. Sometimes it was their relationships with other people, in particular their family, and their inability to manage those relationships effectively. And sometimes, a business will plateau because there isn't a purpose, because there isn't a reason to move beyond your current comfort zone. Your purpose will take you into that place. And so with LifeShine, I built, essentially it's a 4-facet program, and it includes a section on unique identity and fulfilling relationships. Still includes successful business and career, but it also includes a generous legacy, which is your purpose. That's your place there, right? So I really felt that was really important. And in that process, as I'm working through this, I actually had a chance to spend some time with Eric, and he was talking about a generosity coach. And I said, wow, what is that? And I began to kind of dig into that. And I realized that that's the place where I really want to be. Generosity. Generosity to me is love. Generosity is focusing on the other person. Generosity, very simply, the definition is to, deliver something that's greater than customary or expected. Right? So if there's anything I ask you to take away today, is this generosity concept. Right? How can I be more generous? But it's not just in money, right? It's in behaviors, it's in attitudes, it's in relationships. You got to be generous to yourself too, right? You got to take care of yourself. You got to learn. You got to continue to grow. So I really want you to. That's the one theme today that I'd love to have you take away, is this concept of generosity. And so I created the name of the program now is the LifeShine Generosity Success Program. It's all based on 5:16, but with this theme of generosity that kind of is the glue that holds everything together. Really, life is bigger than just business, right? Life's not about business, life's about life. Business is a supporting vehicle for the life that you want to live. Your career is a supporting vehicle for the life that you want to live. Generosity is the glue. When I serve at the harbor, I was telling Eric earlier, when I'm done, I'm happy, I'm glad, I'm joyful that I was able to make a difference with some people, and it's only 1 hour, right? And it's 10 minutes away from home. Thanks, guys.